It's going to be a terrible quality video, maybe, if the wind blows too much, but I think I might have fixed this problem with the rear wheels locking up on the Ariens razor. Now, if I remember right about this at Lowe's, they were selling these at Lowe's, and if I also remember right, they stopped selling them at Lowe's, maybe because they were getting too many complaints. But one of the issues was, well, this right here, the bungee cord, because these adjustment levers, just real thin metal, and it won't stay there. The rear one's okay, I don't have any problem with that. But the front one, if you go pushing it into a hill or anything, not hard, just enough to bump it, it'll, sometimes it'll bump right out of that position and go straight down on the ground and scalp the grass. And then there was a problem with there was some grass blowing out of here somewhere and getting grass all over the deck. I think with the bag on, and they had a free kit that they sent me for that. The other issue was the gas cap was leaking. It was like the O-ring on there was just not thick enough. It was the right diameter, but it just wasn't thick enough. So, it would just kind of seep out as the mower was moving around. You just have gas kind of seeping out of here. Not like big drips or anything, but it was wet. So I think I solved that with this cheap replacement. I can't remember what it was, $10 or something on Amazon. But this one definitely fits much tighter. You can feel it when you put it on there. There's more resistance and it fits just fine. Funny thing is, I looked on their website, Ariens website, and I even tried to find this Briggs & Stratton model to get a replacement, official name brand replacement cap, but couldn't find one. So I tried this and it's perfect. It doesn't leak at all. But the big thing is the rear wheels locking up. And I've used this a few times now after doing this, and I'll tell you what I did. And I swear I can't get it to lock up at all, even on these hills. Because the problem is, I'll just explain it before I demonstrate. You would get up on a hill, or even just on flat ground if you accidentally bumped the drive bar here, whatever you want to call it. If it was enough to just temporarily engage the wheels, and then when you wanted to back up, so you're mowing around and you come up to a spot in the yard, you want to back up and go the other way, it would just lock up the wheels, and you'd have to drag it backwards. And if you're on a hill, going up the hill, I'll start it in a minute to show you. And if you can't kind of push it forward, because somebody was saying, and it was true, if you go up the hill or somewhere and you're still got the drive bar engaged just a little bit, you have to let go of the drive bar. I'm just calling it drive bar, I don't know what it is. And then you just have to push it forward a little bit, because there's like some kind of a gear in there, or some kind of device that's kind of like catching it to prevent it from rolling back, so it'll lock up the wheels unless you just push it forward a little bit and then pull it backwards, it'll release it. So that works, but if you're on a hill, then it's a problem, because then you're all the way up on this hill, and it's kind of steep, and then you have to push it forward a little bit more, and then it'll come back without dragging the wheels. But it would just, every time I went up on these hills, it would just drag the wheels down. And it, in the spring when the grass is a little wet, and it starts tearing up the grass, I don't really care too much about my yard, but it's just really annoying, and it just makes using it much more difficult. So all I did, and I was kind of shocked, I adjusted this again. This, you see here, right here's the mechanism for that. There's a little lever here. So when you push down on this bar, you'll see it pulls on this, it has this bar in here, and it'll pull on that cable. And when it pulls on the cable, that tightens up the pulley under there, and tightens up around the belt to then engage the wheels. So in the book, it even says, if you need to adjust that, here's where you do it, basically. So that's, again, on the left side of the mower right here, it's this only silver nut here. And again, that's just for this little plastic clamp. Sorry. It clamps down on this cable. And that's how far mine is sticking out right now. So I can get it to focus on that. just about that much. But so there's really not any slack in it, but it's not really pulling on it. If you just tug on it with your fingers, you can feel when it finally catches, but there's just a tiny bit of resistance there, and but nothing that I would call slack. And again, I don't know if yours would be exactly the same, but that's how far mine is sticking out right now. And all I did was adjust this a little bit tighter. You know, basically, I think I pulled it down maybe. But basically the idea is when you push on this bar, you know, if it's trying to go forward, you want to loosen it up. So this is looser, so it's not dragging on the belt down here all the time. So what I did was I tightened it up so it actually is getting closer to pulling on the belt, because I didn't have enough traction. You know, the wheels weren't, well, not traction, they just weren't pulling hard enough when I had a load in the bagger there. So, especially on the hills. And because I had loosened it up too much when I ran into this problem with the wheels locking up. So when I first got it, the wheels were locking up from the factory. Like I said, if you go forward and try to come backwards, the wheels are locked up and jagging them. So that's when I adjusted it, loosened it up some, and still dragging, you know, the wheels backwards. You know, they got locked up, and I was like, I just forget it. I'm just going to leave it that way. So then I finally got tired of not having enough, you know, pulling power on the wheels with the bagger full on the hills. So I tightened it up a little bit more, and I can't believe it, but so far those wheels are not locking up, and I can't get them to lock up, which is good. So lock up coming backwards is what I mean. So I'll start it up and go on this hill and back and forth real quick, and I'll show you that I'm pushing on the bar, and then I release the bar and pull it back, and then it just comes right back, and the wheels are spinning, you know, turning. I mean, they're not locked up. You'll see it, because again, that was the issue. You go up the hill, release the bar, and just kind of start dragging it backwards, and then the rear wheels would be locked up, and it would just be super annoying. So let's go ahead and start it up, and I'll show you if I can hold the phone and do that at the same time. I can even stop it midway and go up a little bit and then release it. It'll still come back down without the wheels locked up. Hear that very well, sorry about that. But what I was saying is I could even drive it halfway up the hill, stop, you know, and then release, push it forward again, spin the wheels, feel like I'm going to go forward, release, and every time I pull it backwards, the wheels are not locked up. So I don't know if there's some kind of magic position on this cable here, but maybe there is. And for me, this is the magic position right here. So I think, except for the weak levers on the wheel adjustment there, sorry if there's any wind noise, but that's my final problem, and I've kind of worked around that with a bungee cord. But yeah, other than that, I think I've finally got all my problems solved with this Ariens razor. And this is what is this model? This was the 911602 is the model number. I'm looking at the tag down here. So 911602 is the model number I have, and it's the reflex speed control. So that's it. I don't know, you can try adjusting that, because I know there are several people that replied to my other videos about this. Everybody had the same problem, but maybe you can find that magic position on your cable too.